to start our meeting. I would like to ask Rick Midley if he could come and start us with a prayer.
Thank you, gentlemen. If you could remove your hands for prayer. If there's ever a time our nation needed to hear from God, is now. Am I agree with that? So it's not a light thing to invoke the presence of God in every meeting we have and to ask Him for wisdom and help and direction for our life. And so I engage you in this prayer, that you make this your heart's prayer, that God would engage your heart, and that you would discern good from evil, right from wrong, and do the right thing in trying to restore righteousness back to our nation again. Father, we need you tonight more than ever before. We see that our country, Lord, is being attacked from without and from within. And we see, Father, people making decisions about gender and about children's surgeries and the craziness that's going on in our society today. We need your help, Lord. We need you to help us to rally other people to see and discern right from wrong and to support the right. And so we pray that you would be glorified in our time here today. Thank you for each candidate, Lord, that would choose to run. It's a difficult task to run for an office. I pray, Lord, that you would hold them accountable and all that they do. Bless them and use them. Thank you for Suzanne and for her party here and for her part in trying to rally this island. We pray, Father, your will be done tonight, here on earth as it is in heaven. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Rick. We will now start with the flags. Jon West, would you?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't think I have seen, well, we do have some elected officials, but right now we won't introduce them yet because they are going to be our panel very shortly. Do we have any other any elected official at that time? No. So I know we have candidates, but again, we won't introduce our panel. We'll have them very shortly, but we have some others, so let's get started.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all again. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael McCauley, and I'm running for the 28th District Court here in Nueces County, and I'm a Republican, and I ask for your vote and your support. Thank you so much, and thank you to Suzanne. And by the way, Suzanne's group is endorsement as well, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. James.
Good evening, everybody. My name is James Sells. I'm running for District Attorney in Nueces County on the Republican ticket. I've actually been a Republican, unlike one of my competitors who supported Joe Biden and financed the Democratic Party. I have been a Republican, to be a Republican, and will carry our values as District Attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other candidates?
Michael.
So not that for the primaries. Not running in the primary. Yeah, we don't want to confuse the primaries. So I saw your MK. Did you want to say something? I don't know if you're still here. MK?
Where is she? She was over there.
Did you want to say something?
Christy Green.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Sorry, no problem.
Come say something to Christy.
That's why I kept calling.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. What a great crowd tonight. Love it, love it, love it. Good luck to all of you guys. You're all working very hard. Christy wanted to be here tonight, a conflict on her other schedule. As you know, we're in a blitz. It's a big race. You know, she's determined to get out and let everybody know that she is a dedicated prosecutor and she's excited about running for district attorney. We appreciate you guys. Visit our website at electchristybritt.com to learn a little bit more about our candidate. Thank you guys. Have an enjoyed meeting or forum or whatever.
Town hall.
I love fast.
I don't know what it is.
Any other candidate that I missed or somebody who represents the candidate? No? Very good. New attendees. I think we have a few new attendees tonight. If you are a new attendee, would you please introduce yourself in a few words? And how you found us, who you are, where you live? What you want to do in life?
I know you're all dying to hear this.
How you can help you?
My name is Jon West. This is my wife. It's not my caretaker, it's my wife. Maureen, we're brand new from North Carolina. We lived here in Kingsville for a month. I grew up there. She's a retired district attorney from North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
We want to support conservative Republicans. That's what we're interested in. And thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Anybody else who is first time here? You can be
I like my photo.
Anybody else? People are shy, so I need to go running after them. You've been here many times. We were at your place. So.
You're like a game show host walking around.
In case you did not notice, we're here with us Orlando Quintanilla, who used to host our meetings a while back until he sold to an unfriendly new owner. So that's why we had to move. So,
Don't stand. Thank you. Thank you.
okay. For those who don't know, this is the song we like to play for our elected officials. We don't have any yet, but for all those who will become our elected officials, we'll keep playing that and saying that to you. We'll be watching you because that's what we are here for, and we want to hold you to your commitments. Okay. So, we have just hot off the press, we just got them yesterday, some signs. We have 3 different sizes, the 4 by 8, 2 by 4, and the regular size, yard sign. We sell them. Well, why do we sell them? Because we had to pay to print them, so and they don't come free. Part of it is to defray our costs, and part of it is to raise some money to be able to do more and print more voter guide and so on. So there is a built-in part for each of those 2 things in it. So please come and get yours. They are the only one available. So you don't need to go and run to the party or anywhere else. Nobody has Trump sign, and that's why we decided to reprint. This is the one we printed 4 years ago in 2020, and it was very successful. We had to do several reprints, so I hope you will get them. Okay, grassroots updates. I need you to all sign up for our block walking team, our Padre Island block walking team, which is PI. Of course, that's going to be our Team 5. So please join it, and we are going to have a lot of block walking to do. We are starting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to make bags to block walk. So anybody is welcome every single day. We'll be there from 10 to 5, and we need people to do first bag, but then block walk. It's no use to have a lot of bags sitting in the office if they are not distributed. as you know, our first goal is to distribute to every single household on the island. That's about 5,000 houses. Precinct 1, we have 78 streets. Precinct 40, sorry, 78, and about the same number in Precinct 81. So that's about 150 streets on the island. That's not very difficult. When you start with your street and a few streets around you, everybody can very easily do 5 or 10 streets within the 4 or 5 weeks that we have left. So we really count for you to do that. We will also be doing a large part of Flower Bluff, and we are asking all our friends who live in anywhere in Wet'suwet'en County to also distribute in their area. We have made our voter guide so that it can be used in any area. It has all the candidates that are in the contested races, all 14, even those we cannot vote for on the island. So we've separated, because we used to have people call and say, oh, so-and-so was not on my ballot, they cheated. No, it just were not in your precinct. So you can use them anywhere. Please help us. You have a lot of important races there. We have those 14 contested races, from the president to district attorneys, the last of the first block, are extremely important. So we need people to get engaged, to realize how important those races are. We have also 3 people for the Texas Court of Appeal and 1 for the Texas Supreme Court. I'm sure you read every day in the newspaper how many bad decisions are made at the Texas Court of Appeal against Ken Paxton. How many bad decisions are made even against Abbott at the Texas Supreme Court, even though they were pretty much all nominated by him. So it is time to bring some better people and some new blood. So that's why those voter guides are very important. People here have no idea who those people are. So please help us spread the word. So, yes, so those are the way to remind you. We need shift in the headquarters. We need to be open from 10 to 5 every single day. So I'm asking some if they can stay the whole day, 10 to 5, that's great. And then some can do only the morning or the afternoon. We want to have at least 2 or 3 people at all time. So please, we need as many people to sign up for shifts. We need people to call volunteers to come and help and to distribute. We need people to block walk. We need people to sign up to distribute during early voting and on general election day. Obviously, people who are there are going to vote. When you distribute at the houses, your goal is not only to educate them, but to try to incite them, to give them an incentive to go and vote, because now they know what they are going to vote for. And as you know, every single time we try on the island to have a higher rate of participation. Right now, our rate of participation is double of what every time of what it is in Corpus Christi as an average, and every time we aim to gain a little bit more, which helps a lot the candidates all over the county. And then finally, we need people to sign up as election clerk and poll watcher in all the different areas. On the island, all those positions are already taken, so I'm warning you, when you sign up, you'll be sent somewhere else, but somewhere where you are needed. So please, if you are not somebody who is ready to be standing at the poll all day to distribute a voter guide, sign up to be a clerk. At least you can really help and do something useful on that day. Okay. If you have not yet signed up for our volunteer form, please come at the end and we'll give you one so that we know what you can help us with. So, It's an invasion, you know it. It's getting worse every day. Abbott has decided to continue despite what the feds are telling him to do, and he has sent already the National Guard, who is actively working the border, finally, I would say. So, as he said, the Constitution itself provides Texas with the right of self-defense, in this case, because the United States has abandoned its responsibility to defend Texas. So, quickly, upcoming events. I won't talk about our movie nights. You know, they are every single Monday. We have a lot of great movies. But our candidate forum next week, that's a very important one. That's the district attorney and the 28th judicial district. So please come, support your candidate. And some people ask, I will answer that question because I get that so often. Why do you endorse before the candidate forum? Because if you want us to be able to support the candidates who endorse, we have to do that preparation work in December as soon as the filing is finished, so that we can print our voter guide, start distributing them, and so that the candidates who endorse benefit of the endorsement. If we would wait until 2/22, which is our last forum, to do the endorsement, it would be useless. The vote is starting 2 days later, so that's why that's the only way we have been doing that every year. I know people don't understand that, but there is no other way. It's the calendar that dictates it to us. So, on the 15th, well, first on the 8th of February, we have Lina Klein. We're always happy to have her, and she's always amazing. On the 15th, we'll have Congressional District 27. We're still hoping to have Congressman Michael Cloud. It's not a guarantee. We'll have at least a video. If we can have him personally, that would be even better. And finally, on the 22nd, we'll have the higher state level courts, which are the Court of Appeal and the Texas Supreme Court. So, please do come support us. 1 week out of 2, we're downstairs. The other week, we are upstairs. And the forums generally will be upstairs. Primaries calendar, I think you all have seen it, and if not, it's on our website. Primary schedule. Oh, one last thing. Chaplains in the school. That's a pretty important topic right now. We have alerted as soon as we saw that there's a new legislation that allows the school district, or that tells the school district that they have until March 1st to decide whether or not they want a chaplain in every single school of their district. We did alert everywhere where we had some candidates, no, not some board members. So in Flower Bluff, they have already voted once for it. They are going to have, in fact, I think they are having tonight the second vote, so hopefully it will pass, and Ginny Blankenship-Paluseo is our lead in that fight. Midway Tuloso, it's Denise Villalobos who is leading that fight. CCISD, of course, voted against, or at least is preparing to vote against it. So if you can, whether you are a parent or not, please contact them and tell them that they need to allow chaplain in the schools. That is an unacceptable restriction on the freedom of religion and freedom of speech. So please contact them quickly, because their vote is going to happen, I think, next week. So that's it for me. And now I would like to introduce our panel. We have, where's Jon?
Jon West.
So we have 4 candidates. Yeah, as you know, we call them our dream team. There we go. So we have the incredible chance this time to have 4 candidates for each of the 4 open positions that are really 4 great candidates that we will fully support, and that I have taken on the big task of taking back or taking the 13th Court of Appeal. It has never been a Republican court, ever. So this will be the first time. They have a big job, but they are up to it. So I'm glad to have them here. So we have Jaime Tijerina, who is running for Chief Justice. Ysmael Fonseca, who ran 2 years ago already, had our 4 years, had our endorsement at that time, and Jon West, who we also endorsed in the past, and Jaime Follow, who are delighted to endorse this time. So we have a wonderful team. So I would like now, tonight it's a town hall because it's their day. It's not like we have contested race, so with moderator and timing for how much time they each have to turn. So I think they will introduce themselves and a little bit what they are running for, the experience and all that, and then I guess they'll answer questions and all that. It's yeah, sure. We have people standing, we have still a full empty table here. Don't hesitate to come and sit down. If you don't see very well here, the table is totally available here. So it's all yours.
Thank you very much.
Go up there, Michael.
Yeah.
That's nice. You don't like that. Not at all.
Hey, first off, let me tell you thank you for having us here today. I really appreciate it. We've been on the campaign trail now for a few months, and we always love coming to Corpus Christi and North Padre Island. I normally go to South Padre, but North Padre is a great place to be, especially today. I really appreciate it. I have to write things down now. I'm getting a little older, and there's some things I want to tell you about. So she introduced me, but I am a justice on the 13th Court of Appeals. I've been there almost 5 years now. I was appointed by Governor Abbott after my opponent was charged, indicted, and then convicted of bribery in his official capacity, and then went to prison. I got appointed. I ran for the 13th for the 3rd time, and we won. That was in 2020. So it was a great day. It was really a miracle that we won. We hadn't gotten. Well, we'd had a couple of Republicans on the court before, but it just didn't seem like the year because it was a presidential cycle and we've never come close. But I have some good news. Yesterday, it's only fitting that we're here today because yesterday we had oral arguments in Victoria, Texas. From time to time, we will leave either Corpus or Annenberg and hear some cases in the cities that they originated from. And we had a couple of cases in Victoria. And for the first time in the history of the 13th Court of Appeals, we had a presiding judge that was a Republican, and that was me. And not only was the presiding judge a Republican, but the entire 3-judge panel was Republican. Never happened before either. And that's one of the reasons I think we're all running. I'll let them talk for themselves because in the future, when we have oral arguments or we have 3-judge panels assigned, we want them all to be Republicans. So I was talking to Ysmael not long ago, and I promise I won't take that much time. I was talking to Ysmael about last cycle. Last cycle, and I told a few of you also, last cycle was the first time we had more Republicans running or voting in the primary than Democrats. Now we had a contested race, it was Ysmael in that contested race, which probably accounted for a few extra votes, but it wasn't several thousand votes. So we want to keep that momentum up because I can tell you that when the votes are counted in March and there are more Republicans voting in the district, that makes them want to pull their head back into their shell. They'll get very scared, they'll run scared, and it will put us in a better position to win the November election. So I'm going to count on all of y'all Are there precinct chairs here? Yeah, so precinct chairs, you're the ground game for us, and we really need you to do that. Now, I did want to explain a little bit about judges, okay? Because I know we're going to have some questions. I always tell people it's a little lonely being a judge because we can't talk about social issues in public. We can't talk about things that come before the court. Because if we say it in public, then it's possible we could be disqualified. But I'll tell you that for myself, I'm a Republican for the same reasons that all of y'all are Republicans. But I'm a judge because I recognize that the judiciary has to be fair and independent. And independent is the most important thing. We will always, or at least I will, interpret the law as written originally and not advocate or legislate from the bench, which I think that's one of the characteristics of a conservative judge, is that we will only interpret the law as written. And that's my pledge to y'all. Because then there's no question. It's really easy. We're predictable and we're consistent. And I just want to tell y'all that I feel humbled that I've been able to work for you for the last 5 years. I want to continue as our chief. There's so many problems at the Court of Appeals that I don't have time to talk about it. But I don't want to take y'all for granted either. So I do want to tell you just a little bit about myself. And this is my 7th election as a Republican. I've won some and I've lost some. And so I'm excited about running again, about being the chief. I don't get really more say being chief, but there's more administrative duties. But I think it's a way to lead the court with some other very fine judges that hopefully will join me that way. But I've been a county attorney for 12 years before that. I've been a district judge for 3 different district courts in Hidalgo County. I also served in the military for 32 years. I attained the rank of lieutenant colonel in the reserves, and I had tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I retired in 2020. I think I got the experience. I think I'm the only person who can say that I tried a case in municipal court, JP court, a constitutional county court, what are the other ones? County court of law, district court, federal district court, and court martials. A lot of people don't, they check all the other boxes, but they don't check the court martial box. So. But I appreciate y'all being here. Susan, thanks for doing this. And I'm always going to ask for your vote. I'm humbled that you put your trust in me. And I want 6 more years, and then I promise I'll fade off into the sunset. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. It's such an honor to be here before y'all. I appreciate Suzanne and her efforts to make this such a success tonight. This is really humbling. I am excited that we are here in the Corpus Christi area. I'm from Corpus, as Justice Tijerina already mentioned. We have been hard on the campaign trail, and that's one of the things I wanted to lead with, is that this court covers 20 counties from Cameron County all the way up to Lavaca. And so this is a very rigorous and hard and a marathon of a campaign. And so that's why we really need y'all's support. It's not easy. Every week we're in multiple counties. And it's important that, while we're home and for me, while I'm here in Corpus, to be in front of y'all and to let you know that there are Republicans down in the valley who are fighting. We need to really help them as much as we can. They're trying. As y'all know, the valley historically is just under Democratic control, and there are some wonderful people down there that I've met and been had the pleasure of speaking in front of. And so I just wanted to lead with that about this campaign and how much we need everyone's support and just to get the word out. I did sort of want to dovetail off also what Justice Tijerina, and just so y'all know, we've done this now a few times. We're in order, so Justice Tijerina goes first. I'm place 2. Ysmael Fonseca is place 4, and John's place 5. that's the order, that just so y'all remember. But I did want to dovetail off of something that the justice already mentioned about why it's important for there to be a Republican court, and besides the fact it would be historical, and what a great, just fantastic thing to be able to be a part of and for Texas to have. But this was one of the questions we had at a forum last weekend in Harlingen was, well, why is it important to you that you have a Republican court? And what I want to make very clear is we've seen their track record, and this court has historically been the weakest. It's been corrupt. It's now changing. With Justice Tijerina, we have Justice Pena and Justice Silva. And so it's now turning. But they've already had their chance, and we've seen their track record, and they are corrupt, and they don't have the work ethic, and they don't have the integrity. And that's why I'm running. I was approached by people who asked me not only because of my qualifications, and I'll tell you more about myself. I know some of you all have been here and heard me before, but I do want to speak to those that don't know me. But it's very important that as judges, and especially at this level, this is a court that's right below the Texas Supreme Court. And it's already been said, we take up so many issues, and Suzanne already mentioned how important these courts are. The issues that affect your children, your families. We have to have strong judges that are going to follow the law. And so it's just very important that we get these honest, hardworking individuals. I share the same values with these gentlemen standing up here, and so I'm proud to be up here running. About myself, I'm a 28-year licensed attorney. I'm born and raised in Corpus Christi. I've raised 2 children in Corpus as well. One is currently at A&M in College Station, a junior, and one is living in New York City and working for J.P. Morgan. I am proud to say I graduated from Texas Tech Law School and came back to Corpus. And I started as a prosecutor in Clayburgh County, then went on to Nueces County in the county attorney's office, so I had public service for most of my career. I was the chief of litigation in Nueces County, and in that capacity, handled a variety of things. Justice Tijerina can speak to that, having been a county attorney himself. And so I went on from there, and now I'm currently in private practice with Porter, Rogers, Dahlman, and Gordon, handling business and commercial disputes. But one of the things I do want to mention, not only because this appellate court handles civil and criminal, and I have that background in both areas, both types of appeals, I do have quite extensive appellate work. While there are some attorneys, that's their main focus, it has not been mine. But over the years, I was not afraid to take on appellate work. And so I've been before the court on 15 matters, and then even had one go up to the Texas Supreme Court, which was upheld. So I'm very proud of that experience that I would be able to bring to the court, and I would just appreciate y'all's vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you all for having us, and as you can see, we're already very disciplined. We stand in ballot order, so that shows how committed we are to the rule of law. It's a pleasure being here. Again, my name is Ysmael Fonseca. I'm a district court judge in Hidalgo County. This is the second court that I'm presiding over, currently the 476th and before running the 464th. And I'm just going to be repeating what my colleagues have been saying about how important it is that we make sure that we go down ballot, and that's one of our big asks for everybody here, is making sure you talk to people about the importance of the judiciary. As important as it is to vote for president and senator and our representatives, it is equally important that our third branch, that the judiciary, has people that are going to look at the law as it's been originally written and applying that law to every single case. because as Jenny was just mentioning, we've had for too long a court that was looking at the lawyer that's on the case or the judge friend that's friendly to the panel, and just making sure the law fits their narrative and being activists. And because right now we have 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats, and the cases are assigned to a panel. So even though we've just, as Jaime was saying, there was a panel of 3 Republicans hearing a case, you could also have a panel of 3 Democrats. So unless you have an all-Republican court, you're not guaranteed to have the justices that will apply the law as written. So that's the importance of making sure we sweep the 13th and we have an all-Republican court. So I'm going to keep repeating what everybody's been saying. That's what happens when you're the third in line. But again, it's a pleasure. This will be my third race. I'm not a stranger to going up and down the coast. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love coming out here, and we're enjoying the ride and doing so with these amazing people. So please ask for your vote, ask for your support, and let's keep talking about sweeping 13. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes? Everybody good, because I'm actually really loud, and if I have a mic, it's going to be offensive.
We are recording live.
Okay.
And I'll use a mic. I'll apologize in advance. My name's Jon West. I know most of y'all here. I ran for the DA spot last election cycle, so y'all know that I'm a career prosecutor. So I've prosecuted thousands and thousands of cases. I've never had a case reversed. I've had hundreds of felony jury trials. I've never had a case reversed. I've handled appeals for 3 different district attorney's offices. I've worked for 2 Democrat DAs and 3 Republican DAs. I've been first assistant DA in 4 of those offices. I'm not a prosecutor anymore because I've committed to this campaign. And in order to commit to you guys, it's a 24/7 gig, right? I mean, it's not I'll get around to it when I can. I've also got kids. I've got young kids. My oldest is in 8th grade. He's playing basketball right now. So if I was working at a DA's office and being a dad to 3 young kids and running as a candidate, and there's not enough butter for that bread, right? So I am sacrificing for you guys because we believe in the same things. Now, I went to DeWitt County, and they are a red-blooded American county, and I loved meeting with them, and they felt embarrassed because out of the entire county, their last primary, only 48 people voted. And so they told me they were ashamed of it. They wanted to do something different, but they said that their voters weren't educated. And I told them, I said, no, your voters are educated, because out of the 48 voters, 49 of them voted for Republicans. So they are educated. What they don't understand is the impact that the different offices have on each other. Because I can ask y'all if y'all know who the sheriff is, right? Y'all know who the sheriff is?
Yes.
Can y'all name the 6 justices on the 13th Court of Appeals? No, because that doesn't necessarily affect us right here, right now, today. But it does. And the reason why it does is, we've had mention of several things. I could talk to y'all. Let me ask you a question. What are some of the issues that you think are important to you? We've already had gender issues mentioned during the prayer. Those issues will go to a court of appeals. The border. Any laws that are drafted to try to stop the invasion will go to a court of appeals.
Medical freedom. Medical freedom.
Medical freedom will go to the Court of Appeals. Education will go to the Court of Appeals.
Sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking will go to the, all of these issues that are near, the right to bear arms will go to the Court of Appeals. So even if you have local Nueces County conservatives, you need appellate courts that are gonna follow the law, interpret the law, apply the law, instead of being agenda oriented. It's really, really important. Now, what I can say that hasn't been said is, not only can we get an all conservative Court of Appeals, but if we're elected, we can guarantee you a conservative majority at the Court of Appeals for 6 years. That's pretty good, because then my junior high son will be an adult. And I will pass him a better Nueces County than I saw, right? I will pass him a better judicial system than we had. The difference that we can make isn't a 2-year impact. It's not a 4-year impact. It's a 6-year impact. This is a very, very, very crucial time, because just as we can make it conservative for the next 6 years, they can make it extreme forever, right? So you're going to be asked, difficult questions. I had a conversation with a gentleman, and he had mentioned that he had donated money to a campaign. Well, every campaign needs money. Not many can guarantee you 6 years of commitment. So your return for investment on us is pretty big, right? And we affect every single level. DA's office, absolutely crucial. Sheriff's Department, or the sheriff, absolutely crucial. 13th Court of Appeals, absolutely crucial. Now, when you're talking to Republicans, it's easy to sell us, right? Because we're Republicans. But everybody has Democrat friends also. When you're talking to them, you can't just say, vote for these guys because they're Republicans. That's not going to work. I will tell you what you need to tell them, though. We're more qualified. I've handled appeals. My opponent, in her entire career, has handled 2. I'm a first-generation college graduate that's made it on my own. She is a second-generation politician. Why is she running for an appellate court if she hasn't done appeals? Because it's a political office. They're not worried about doing the work. They're worried about getting in the position of power. And then, as has happened in the past with his opponent, they're selling that power. So guys, this is absolutely crucial. This is a time that right now, if you look on the national media, they're coming after your guns. They're coming after your kids. They're telling us how to raise our kids. They're telling us what needs to be taught. And when I went to school, I'll tell you what I learned the most. I didn't learn geometry, trigonometry, calculus. I didn't learn that. I learned it enough to pass the test. But I learned character, morals, and work ethic. My football teacher, my football coach taught me work ethic. I was the littlest guy on my team. But as long as I was doing everything I could, and fighting and hitting and getting up, I was on the field playing. My teachers taught me compassion. They didn't teach us for grades. They taught us for life. And we need to get back to that. So guys, you're going to be asked for support. You're going to be asked to spread our messages. Who here has me on social media, on Facebook? Go home, put me on your Facebook. Spread our messages, because I can only reach the people that I know. But if I reach 100 people, and you reach 100 people, and you reach 100 people, I mean, our message spreads, and we have the right message. So we should win, but we can't focus on winning the majority of the vote. We have to focus on overcoming the voter fraud, because we know that's going to happen. We will win the majority of the people that vote. because we're the better candidates. And when you talk to Democrats, our candidates stand up for what they believe in too, because Democrats have families, they have kids, they're worried about protecting themselves, they're worried about keeping their jobs. You know, we had a government shutdown, and it didn't shut down. I mean, it shut down everybody's businesses. It prevented us from feeding our families. That, guess what, goes to the Court of Appeals. So guys, this honestly is the most important time in our South Texas area for pushing a law enforcement agenda. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions afterwards, please talk to me.
Can I follow up with that real quick? Okay, so John asked you about if you could name the judges on the Court of Appeals, and I know most people can't. I can't name all the judges on the Court of Criminal Appeals. The Supreme Court, yes. They've had some changes recently, and it's a lot to remember. There's 9 on each. And that's one of the things I talk about when I talk with some people. And this is a study that came out through TLR, Texans for Lawsuit Reform. Every one of you in here will vote for more judges in your lifetime than any other office, period. And if you think about it, and Michael, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So we got 9 on the Supreme Court and 9 on the CCA. So that means any given cycle, you're going to vote for 4 or 5 there. So let's say 10. And then you're going to vote for the Court of Appeals for y'all is a little different. One year you get 4, another year you get 1, and then the third cycle you get 1, because we're 6-year terms. So now you got 10. Let's say it's I'm not sure how many are running for the CCA and the Supreme Court, but let's say it's 10. Then you got 4 on the Court of Appeals. How many county courts of law do you have?
We have 5 in Nueces County.
Okay, so you might vote for 3.
Well, strangely enough, all 5 of those are on the same cycle as 5 more of the district courts.
So where were we?
And we only have 3.
At 10, 14, 5.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're at 19.
We have,
and how many district courts?
We have 8 district courts.
So 19, 23, 27, and then you got JP.
Oh, yeah.
28. There's you're voting for president. How many? Like 5 statewide. Right, so you're always voting for more judges. And the stat that's mind blowing. If you ever decide to move to Harris County, you will vote for 85 judges any cycle. Can you imagine that? There's no way you can know all of those names. And so, why that's important is when a case gets appealed from any one of those, it comes to the court, the 13th Court of Appeals, the county courts or the district courts. And we are not a court of discretionary review. We have to hear the cases. So each justice right now averages about 100 opinions a year. So there's 6 of us, so that's about 600 opinions. Granted, some are dismissals because they don't pay the fee or there's some other defect, and those are pretty quick. But most of them are full-blown opinions. That's 600 opinions every year. Then the more staggering statistic is the Supreme Court and the Court of Criminal Appeals are only going to take about 4 to 5% of those. So everything stops right here in Corpus Christi or Edinburgh. And that's why you need to know who the judges are that you're voting for. And that's why we come here. We come here so that you can put eyes on us and we can tell you the kind of people we are, the kind of integrity we have, the kind of work ethic. I'll leave you with one thing, and I guess you can ask some questions. But and this is something I'm trying to tell everyone because there's some real problems at the court. I did some performance evaluations for my staff, and one of the things I learned in the military is that I always try to get feedback from them about me. So I asked them, tell me something that you think I do well, and tell me something that you think I can improve on. And that kind of, they never want to tell you what you can improve on, right? But I had one of my staff tell me something that really wasn't that important, but then she wrote an email to me. I had time to think about it and reflect. And one of those things is, she says, I really appreciate that you come to the office every day. Can you imagine that? And and that's one of the problems we're having. I go to the office every single day, unless I'm campaigning or having to do something, some training or whatever. But I mean, that's the kind of people we need at the court. We need people who are going to go to the office and work for you. One of the things I learned in the military is the 14 principles of ethical conduct. And the overriding principle was never forget that we're stewards of the American taxpayer dollars. And even in the judiciary, we are stewards of the money you spend. And if you're going to pay for our salary, then I better be in the courthouse working for you. So that's what I'm doing all the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we going to take questions?
Yes.
Any questions?
Questions?
To give you some time to think about your question, I wanted to tell the candidates, as I was talking to, I think, John, because you are not on our voter guide, it does not directly benefit you. But what we are going to do is to prepare, like we have for the 14 candidates that are there, we're going to prepare an endorsement for each of you, saying that you are part of our dream team, and so that you can use it also on your social media and on your PR pieces and all that. So we'll do that even though you are not in a contested race in the primaries. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my questions.
We have a question back there?
I do have one. As I said, we've just moved here, but we love Texas.
So do we.
We love Texas, and it's going to be our home state. I grew up in Texas, but in North Carolina, where we lived, and I was an Army guy, we saw how important it was to have conservative judges who rule on the Constitution. And I would like to give you one example, and then my question. I don't mean to hog the floor as a new guy here, but our state voted on voter ID as a constitutional amendment, and it passed. And so we decided to put into our Constitution an amendment that said you must have an ID in order to vote. But one judge held that up for over a year, or actually, well, over a year. So here's my question, and I don't want necessarily for all of you to answer it, but maybe someone could. Do you have examples like that here? And in my mind, that's what we've got to really watch out for, legislating from the bench.
Well, yeah, I don't think we need to give specific examples, but I'll tell you that if we don't have an independent judiciary, then we run into that problem. I mean, we've made gains in Texas at the legislature. Was it 1995? We took every single statewide in Texas, and we've held it since 1995. We have a majority in the legislature and a majority in the Senate, or the State House and the Senate. It's their job to make the laws. And we run the risk of putting judges in that will hold all of that up. I mean, I think if you look at the national judiciary, every time they pass a law in Washington, well, they go forum shopping, and they end up going into the 11th district up in the Northwest. Northwest will issue an injunction, and then whatever they wanted to do, they can't do anymore. Then they have to wait weeks or months to get to the Supreme Court to overturn the 11th district. And so that's what the risk we run here. And there have been, I won't get into the specific issues, but there have been issues that are near and dear to your heart that have come to the courts of appeals, where the Court of Appeals can just stop it until the Supreme Court picks it up. And that's the kind of, the legislature does their job, we do our job, everything will work out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't be shy, don't be shy, don't be shy.
I have a question, it's not really, well, you were talking about how important it is to know the judges. How important it is to know the judges that we vote for, because a lot of times we'll get in there and then there's, all these judges' names, and we're like, okay, we don't know who they are, and you just kind of hope.
I have a good answer for that.
What is the best way to vet them and to know how they're ruling and?
Okay, so Texas Civil Justice League is an organization out of Austin. Texas Civil Justice League invites every appellate judge in the state of Texas to answer a questionnaire that they have, and then they publish it online on their website. It's called texasjudges.org. We all have an opportunity to do it. I've done it. It's up, but I haven't updated it yet because I don't have a primary opponent. But I'm sure all of y'all got the invitation. Democrats get the invitations, and then you'll see their education, where they live, awards, and judicial philosophy, and they'll have a link to their website, so you can go and see a lot more about those particular candidates, and it's a really great resource. A lot of people don't know about it, but I'm glad you asked that question because you can. You'll learn all about us, and you'll learn about the Supreme Court justices, and you'll learn about the Court of Criminal Appeals justices as well.
Thank you.
And one thing that you can also do is get online now. Candidates have online access at this point, so you can be at home. If you've got a question on a candidate, you can reach out to them. And if they don't respond, that kind of gives you an answer too.
Yeah, it does.
That's half the battle, right? For us, to make sure we're out there reaching people, talking with y'all. And you're already taking the first step, right? You're here and you're hearing from us, and you get to learn more about us, and it's through you, really the grassroots, that we're able to get that message across and making sure people know who we are. Because yeah, I mean, I go back 10, 15 years, I probably didn't know most people. I'm a lawyer. I didn't know most of the people that were on the ballot. So.
Yeah. Right. And not to belabor the point, but that's one of the things, and that goes back to this guide, and I think one of the things they said when we were having to fill it out. I mean, there is such a thing as voter fatigue, and I think it may have already been said tonight about voting down ballot. I mean, again, not to belabor all of this about voting for your judges and how important it is, but we're going to be, somewhere way down the ballot. We're running the presidential election, so it's important that y'all spread the word that, hey, go down don't just skip over us, skip over these races because you don't know. So, yes, please do, do your own self-education on who we are and other candidates.
Yeah, in 2020 was the first cycle. The first cycle we didn't have, in down the valley we called it palanca, the lever, right? A straight ticket. And it really helped us. We had this idea that maybe Democrats would be lazy and not go all the way down ballot. And then that really happened. If you look at the races, the cycle before, because I ran the cycle before, I think it was about 67% of the people who voted in the general election in Hidalgo County voted straight ticket blue, the Democrats. That's an incredible number. We couldn't overcome it. And then we get to 2020, and then you see the number of undervotes as you go down, they start increasing more and more and more and more. So, right now, I know of no Republican judge on the ballot once we get to the general. I don't know of anyone that would be unqualified to say, don't vote for him. So when you see an R, you go down and you vote for him. Because that does happen, sometimes, there's one of the talks I give about knowing your judges is we've had judges in Texas, and this is another good reason to know them. You get an incumbent on the Supreme Court who's got a really strange name, and because nobody knows who he is, when you get someone called Mark the Law, they think he's a way better candidate because his last name is Law. And that has happened, people. We've had some names get elected in the state of Texas with some of them, and they end up going to prison. We had Supreme Court judges get elected and then go to prison because people didn't know who they were. So it's scary. That's why you got to know who they are.
That's right, Jaime.
We appreciate you coming because normally we don't see too many judges, so we appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Any other question? By the way, I really encourage you to go on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and Twitter, and make friends and follow each one of those 4 candidates and of all the candidates we support, because it is very important. Not only it's important for them to increase the number of friends, as you know it counts, that they have and followers on all those platforms, but it also allows you then to share what they post, and that's also a very important way to support them by regularly reposting their posts on your own social media. Questions? Look, you have answered so many questions.
Yeah.
If there are no other questions that you can think of, I would like to give you maybe all a few closing words. Maybe you thought in the meantime of some things we did not address that you would like to address in the closing.
Well, I guess I'll close first, and then I'll give it to Jenny again. But I just want to tell you how much I appreciate this. And like I mentioned before, this is my 7th election. It's my 4th election for the 13th. And I persisted. The first time I ran, I remember filing, and then about a week later, I got a call from what we call PPTNO, the Army. I got orders to go to Afghanistan, and so I spent a year in Afghanistan while the race was going on, and then they expanded the filing deadlines. I would have been the nominee, but they expanded the deadlines, and I lost in the primary. Then I ran and won. I was unopposed in the primary, lost in the general. And then, my wife and I prayed about it a lot, about are we going to do it again? Because we lost big time, even though I was running against the guy who was indicted. But we ran again and we won. And then we got another victory in 2022. And, God willing, the rest of these people here and the Republicans are going to win the 13th Court of Appeals. I'm just so happy to see so many people everywhere, and I don't want to take you for granted, so I'm going to say, I want your vote. Please vote for me. Anything you need from me. Nothing special from the court, but I'm here for you, and I'm just humbled that y'all put these things together and ask us and ask me to speak. So thank you very much for being here.
Well, likewise, I just thank y'all so much. I think every one of these venues we've gone to, I feel just even more momentum for our race, and it's exciting. It really will be historic if we were all to win and there'd be a Republican court, and I hope y'all feel that. One of the things that wasn't mentioned, I think all of us are, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this tells you also a little bit about us. It's one of those pieces of the puzzle you're asking about how you know who we are. We are all endorsed by the Texans for Lawsuit Reform. We are also proudly endorsed by Texas Alliance for Life, and those are statewide. Most of y'all are probably very familiar with those organizations, so we're very proud to all be endorsed by them. And I did want to mention that. That's just another piece of that puzzle that tells you something about us and our values and our integrity. Yes, I ask for y'all's support, your vote, any way you can. We're going to need it, as I already mentioned. The area is expansive, it's a marathon, and I'm ready to be your justice for Place 2. Thank you.
Kind of stole my thunder. I was about to say talk about the endorsements. We can't really tell you how we're going to rule, but one of the ways in which you know about your candidates is from the people that are supporting our campaigns. Coastal Bend Republicans, having Texas Alliance for Life. I've also been endorsed by LJ Francis, our State Board of Education member, who's done some great things, as you've probably seen lately. So that's one of the pieces of the puzzle that help you determine, well, are these candidates for real, right? It's very easy to come up here and say, I'm a Republican, I feel the same way you do. But the people that are supporting our campaign know us personally. This isn't my first go around. I know a lot of you already. You've known me for a couple of years, and that means something. And part of my career has included being a defense attorney for law enforcement and get these frivolous lawsuits for being sued for excessive force. I've worked in the U.S. Senate for Republicans, the Judiciary Committee. I work for our federal judge in McAllen, who's appointed by a Republican president. So all these things are just part of the resume that tell you who I am, and all of us have these credentials. And as John was mentioning earlier, our Democrat opponents have nothing on us. They really do not. I have an opponent who's had his license suspended. So that gives you just a little bit of more information. We have candidates who've not been before the Court of Appeals. They're just simply politicians. If you really look at it, and it's beyond just talking to Republicans, talking to Democrats about it, and they will feel the same way you do. Because by having judges that rule according to what's written, you have consistency in the law. And that's part of what justice is. If you know that the law is going to be applied the same to you as it will be to me, then you're assured justice. And that's something that every Republican, every Democrat, and independent can get behind. So that's something that we need to encourage and tell people this is beyond a party issue. This is about the integrity of the court and doing the right thing. So thank you all very, very much for the warm reception. I ask for your vote to place 4 on the court.
All right, we are absolutely going to do something historic. We're going to have a conservative court for the next 6 years. My son is 14. He will be an adult when that's done. This is historic. It's never happened, and because 4 are on the ballot, 4 out of 6 are guaranteed conservative for the next 6 years. My opponent, I told you that she has only filed 2 appeals. What I didn't mention is she's been sued for legal malpractice. What I didn't mention is she's been held in contempt in federal court. I mean, but it's only fair that I mention that. I'm not talking bad about a person, but I'm letting you know the attorney, your choices. And you don't want to elect somebody to do a job that you wouldn't hire to do a job. So when you're looking, I'm not a person that believes red-blue. Because if we do red-blue, the country never changes. What I'm a person is, what I believe in is, you guys talk to your friends, red or blue, Democrat or Republican. Talk to them about what they care about. And ask them to vote for people that care about the same things. Because honestly, if they don't care about the stuff, if they're offended by what I care about, they're never going to vote conservative anyways. But there's a lot of Democrats that are feeling abandoned by their party because they have been abandoned by their party. So we need to look, when y'all talk about us, talk about who we are. I'm a dad, I got 3 kids. My oldest is 14, my youngest is 7. But also talk about our marriage. Because the Democrat candidates are going to tell you their family story too. And their voters are going to say, yeah, but they're nice. Or they're a mom or they're a dad. But the question is, can they do the job? Will they commit to do the job for you guys? Because I'm a great dad, but that doesn't help you guys. I mean, that's nice. But you want a hard-working conservative that's going to read the law, interpret the law, and apply the law equally to everybody, to Republicans and Democrats, to conservatives and liberals. So, I mean, we really have a chance to do something absolutely amazing. You have a chance to do it. We're just your conduit. We're just the people that are willing to go and do it for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. We really appreciate you all for taking the time, in the same time. I know you all have very busy schedules to come here, talk to us. We love to be able to know you, and I really one more time encourage all of you to continue to follow them. We'll try to make a list for next time of all their Facebook pages and Twitter handles so that you can make sure to connect with them and all the candidates we support. It's very important. And in the meantime, I remind you, I count on you every single day. We're open every day. We need people to come and help us with the bags. If you like to walk, if for yourself or to walk your dog, please take always some bags with you to block walk around you. If you don't want to walk, we have plenty of work in the office, whether you can give us a couple of days a week, or just a couple of mornings, or just 1 hour a week, or 1 hour a day. We'll take everything you can give us, we need it. So please don't hesitate. Whenever you have a little bit of time, come and help. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you very much. Next week is our